What's going on, fellas? This is Sir Studmuffin, leader of Affliction, and this is the first of several videos for our new YouTube channel. The purpose behind this YouTube channel is going to be to mainly for our clan. It's to help our clan look at some of our replays, to go over some base analysis of enemy bases, go over base analysis of what I think of our bases, why I did certain things in my bases, some of the weaknesses I see in our bases, and this is really for me to try and broadcast to the clan in an easy way rather than going one at a time, one by one to each member. I'm still going to do that one-on-one interaction as much as possible, but as you can guess, it's a lot of work. And as we grow as a clan, I think that's extremely important to use YouTube and other large broadcasting devices rather than just Kick and whatnot. We might use Bindle, we might use Skype, voice chats, whatnot. So I think that's going to be really important moving forward. Anyhow, so the first thing that I want to look at in this war, and I think we've done fairly well in this war. I think it's a pretty easy war, to be honest. I think our last wars have been overmatched. I think we've had some tough opponents, but I also think some of our weaknesses have really shown through. I really haven't been happy with some of the planning. That's one of the reasons I want to do this. I want to show kind of what I think, let you pick my brain a little bit, sort of the things I do. I have example sketch of what my sketches look like if you want to look at that. But I really think our members need to plan better, plan more, and think in a three-stage process rather than just one. And the three-stage process is this: the initial, the spells, and the middle part of the attack, and the end. So basically, let's go ahead and go with the initial, the middle, and the end for this attack. This is my attack on number one. This is the first attack. I'm using the Holowiwi, and I'm going to go ahead and show you why I chose Holowiwi. So if you notice, there are 4 air defenses in the core, centralized air defenses. Let's go ahead and do this again slowly. Notice the range of the air defenses, right? They don't go over the outer point defenses, which he has spread around the base, and so they're exposed basically. The other thing I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the Archer Queen. The Archer Queen is well exposed as well. I don't have to use a Golem. Notice that the Expo, it does reach the area in which I would have to engage the Queen, and I try and take these cannons out with my loons. The Archer Queen actually kills my loons before they kill the cannons, which is it's kind of a setback, not a major setback though. In addition, I'm also looking at these double GB spots right here and here. My guess is either it's going to be a Tesla on the outer part of that area rather than double GVs, but better safe than sorry. In addition, up here, it looks like there's a double GB spot as well. It will not be a threat though in my attack because my troops, the pathing for my troops that I'm looking at, I'm going to kill both of these archer towers. I actually use 3 loons rather than 2. I'm going to kill these areas right here, and then I'm going to kill these 2 archer towers down here. There's actually 2 Teslas that pop up as well. So my pathing will be cannon to Wiz Tower, and then to the core, and then to this last Wiz Tower, which I don't kill, and I think there are some mortars that I don't kill as well. So for the most part, basically, I'm killing all the point defenses at the very beginning. It's an extremely powerful attack. It's not going to be as common just because people have picked up on it. Hulk was the one that I believe that developed it and is the one that first publicized it. So that's basically what I think about this base. And let's go ahead and watch my attack. When you notice, I'm going to go from top to bottom. And the reason for that being is the CC. I'm going to get the CC pole at the very end. And I feel this is important for the sake of time so that the troops aren't worrying about, or they're not scattered about. They do scatter about still just because my timing was a little bit I wouldn't necessarily say slow, but my timing was a little bit off. But let's go ahead and watch the attack. So first thing you'll notice is, like I said, the loons at the top. I got the loons on the side, and then I have the loons at the bottom. You want to make sure that that drop is a fluid motion. It's usually 2 loons per archer tower and 1 loon per other, like Tesla, cannon, mortar, or whiz tower. And it really depends on the distance as well. You notice that I dropped the hogs just to check for any GB possibilities. If I can get a real easy GB to be set off. In addition, I bring the lure over here. Now I think I should have dropped another archer and tried and to get the enemy CC a little more bunched up. But you notice that I dropped a kill squad. Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. So the kill squad for TH9 is 2 witches, 1 whiz, 2 barb. For TH8, it's usually 1 witch, 1 valk, 1 whiz, 1 barb, or 2 witches and a barb. The difference at TH8 with the valk is usually against either mainly enemy archers or whiz. Even sometimes at TH8, I think it's we've seen more common in our clan, the dragon, whiz, and barb CC. I think it really depends on what your personal preference is with a kill. But basically, the whole purpose of it is to kill the enemy CC once you've baited it as easy as possible, as efficient as possible, and it basically, especially the TH9 kill squad, the standard, can basically counter any other kill squad or any other CC. And then sometimes you have to drop if there's like an enemy loon or maybe the enemy CC overpowers yours a little bit. You might have to drop a hero or whatnot. So notice that I drop the CC and lure it over towards the Archer Queen area. You really want to do this as much as possible because it allows your troops to work in conjunction with your heroes. Let's go ahead and watch this. I drop the minion to try and help with the funneling. It doesn't really do a whole lot though, but it does help with cleanup at the end. Notice how many defenses at the top and the bottom had already been taken out. Extremely efficient attack so far. In addition, I dropped my hogs in single finger deployment. The rage spell was pretty much useless. Heal spell in the middle. I think my heal spell could have been a little lower. In addition, I think I could have used a second heal spell here. I really kept mine because I felt that it would be better just in case there was a GB at the end or something. But notice that I dropped the heal spell at the bottom because I knew there was probable single GB spots there. I did get a GB up top with my witch, my Archer Queen, which I kept alive. And then I dropped a heal spell in the core just because the BK can be a bit of a nuisance. The BK isn't a game changer, but like I said, it is a bit of a nuisance. And I do apologize for that lag spike right there. I'm basically streaming my device. So it's going to be a bit of an issue at the beginning, but I have an Elgato that I can use. And if this idea, members like it, then we're going to go ahead and keep going with it. So let's go ahead and look at another attack. I'm going to try and keep this video fairly short, but it is going to be kind of long. The next attack I'm going to look at here is going to be TP's attack on 5. Notice the 2 builder huts. That's always what I'm looking for. Some of the exposed structures, I always look for that for my bait and my, I guess my lure, if you will. The 2 giants is what he does for the CC. He goes from the bottom left on the 2 giants. He noticed that this top archer tower was exposed. I didn't necessarily like his drop. He dropped it kind of more towards the builder's hut, but that's okay. And then he drops a 2-finger on the cans, which I think is a pretty good call. I think I'm the one that discussed that with him, but I felt that was a good move just because of the pathing. As you know, pathing will be from the next closest defense with hogs. It's extremely important to know pathing is going to be fairly symmetrical and even. It's a little off with the Barb King, sorry. But it's fairly close. His heal spells are pretty good, but the reason I wanted to show this attack is because he brings the CC over to this left builder hut, and I would like to see that CC go down here because of this exposed spell factory. Number one, it's less travel time of the CC, but number two, he drops his hogs on these two cannons, and so it'd be better for him to start the cleanup earlier rather than later. In addition, like I was talking about earlier, the hogs, the pathing, it clears an area, right? So if he's able to clear this area and start his cleanup, it helps with timing, which is extremely important with hogs. So let's go ahead and watch this attack, and you'll see what I'm talking about here, because his hogs go from the bottom to the top and then back down to the bottom. Let me go ahead and pause this here because it seems like there's a bit of a spike. But his hogs go from the bottom to the top and then back to the bottom, when I would rather see it as bottom to the top and then go to the core and be done by the core. So you'll see what I'm talking about here. These two loons, the distance was a little bit off. That bottom, or I guess the middle archer tower there kind of screwed it up. He does drop one hog here, and I would rather see him commit to it and use two hogs, just because there's a probable GB spot there, and there actually is. So it's not a huge error, but it's something to consider. He drops two giants at the bottom, which I think was a pretty good call. And the reason for that being is because there actually ends up being a lot of archers and whatnot in the CC. So, alright, so he gets the fuller, which is really good. And it was just about the right numbers. And then you see he brings it to the left side, which is really not what I would have gone for. That's okay. We'll go ahead and speed this up. And pretty standard CC kill. Nothing special there. He does drop the BK with it, which I think is a pretty good call. But then you notice the hog deployment. Great heal spells right here. Fairly well placed. I mean, there's nothing really to say about that. The heal spell at the end is perfect as well. And I mean, he basically obliterates the base. But the thing you'll notice is time. And you notice at the very bottom, there are some areas that weren't taken care of. He's just got the BK to worry about. And so his hogs, like I said, go from bottom to the top. They go to the core, which is what you want it to end with. And then they go to the bottom as well. He does have enough time, but his time is a little short. I mean, it's pretty close on time, when he could probably save about 10 to 15, maybe 20 seconds, if he would have done as I suggested. So, like I said, it's a fairly good attack, but the last attack I want to see is our TH8 Go Wipe attack. This is by Alpha, and the reason I want to show this, number one, is because he's our only TH8 Go Wiper at this time. I would encourage some of our TH8 users to use Go Wipe because it really works for bases like this. And there are other bases that are acceptable for Go Wipe and Go Wee Wee. And a quick tidbit on that is Go Wipe, yes, it's a 2-star strategy, but Go Wipe with hybridization and good cleanup technique is best in certain scenarios. I think Go Wipe is good for large core bases like this. I mean, you notice all the room for probable GB spots and whatnot. I mean, it's really an anti-drag, anti-hog base, and so its weakness is Go Wipe. So there are a lot of instances where Go Wipe can be used. It's not just a 2-star strategy, although hogs are usually the better 3-star strategy. But like I said, it can depend. Now, on this base, what I do notice is that the Arity is centralized, like I said. It's got a large core, but what I notice here also is that he's got this little cluster right here of 3 defenses, and they're all susceptible to loons. Sorry. So once he kills the Arity, he can basically take it out with loons. And so what I would have done here is TH8 go wipe. It would probably take a little less whiz. And what you'll notice is that he saves cleanup whiz. So like I was talking about earlier, the 3-step process. The first process is the initial part. What you'll see with go wipe is basically you drop the 2 golems and then you drop the funnel whiz. And funnel whiz is usually 2 to 4 whiz total. It's not a line of whiz. I feel like a line of whiz is the best way to lose whiz in about the first 30 seconds. In addition, you're going to drop the wall breakers to let the golems in, tank a little, and then you're going to drop your hero and your P.E.K.K.A. Sometimes the people will drop whiz before that, but that's not a huge ordeal. And then you drop the rage spell to let your wall breakers in further, and that will get the attack going. So you'll see him doing that. The next step is your spells. He actually drops the heal spell a little bit early because of the enemy CC, which I think is totally fine. If you need to use a spell for the CC and the base is a little difficult, don't do it. In some scenarios, it's best to debate. If it's an easy bait, go for it. In other scenarios, it's not necessarily needed. So with Go Wipe, it can be half and half, really. But you'll notice here he has good spell usage and whatnot. I just wanted to show you a TH8 Go Wipe attack. And let's go ahead and check this out. So notice he has 18 whiz, and I really think he could cut back on that whiz number if he would have done a logo wipe like I suggested. So you notice here he has 4 whiz, and he does kill. He doesn't necessarily funnel, but he kills the outer structures, which is still funneling because he got the 2 army camps, which were the most important. And the pathing will go straight in. So let's go ahead and keep going with this. The pathing will go straight into the core for the most part. That outer ring that he has might deter troops away. And there is a GB there, which does kill the wall breakers. Let's go ahead and keep going. And then you have the CC come out. You notice he does drop the heal, like I said. And if you notice here, his whiz lock onto the enemy whiz real quickly. So his deployment order actually works out for him. And the whiz don't really do that much damage. I think they target onto the golem here, and basically it's not a huge ordeal. So sorry for the lag spikes, but anyhow, you see how effective his whiz are. You see how much he hollows out this core. Basically, you're going to see what I'm talking about, where he could use the loons. Notice he does bring cleanup, which is his 3rd stage. He does have some cleanup whiz, which I think is very important. But you notice how quickly he hollows out that core. That's literally a minute of gameplay. And then you see those outer defenses. If he would have brought loons, then those outer defenses wouldn't be an issue. On top of the loons, I think it's probably also good to bring maybe a few minions if you bring loons. The reason for that being is those air traps are going to be taken out. And so you can bring about 2 minions for every whiz that you might bring. And that might help with cleanup as well. So you notice his troops, they kind of finish off on one side, and they make basically a full line through the base going from top left to the bottom right. And then basically his troops take a little bit of time going to the end. So he literally, he does obliterate the base. But basically, for the sake of time, especially on harder bases, that some of those techniques are definitely important to use. So that's basically this video. I apologize that last replay was pretty laggy. It is a bit of a long video as well, and I do apologize for that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's any feedback I'd love to hear it. I definitely want to work on some of those things. In addition, we're thinking about using potential Skype chats or voice chats. I think there was an app they use for World of Warcraft or something like that. That might be a little too much, but it's a possibility. We just really want to make sure that when we say we're a serious war clan, that we're doing what's required. I think a lot of people have gone pretty complacent, a little bit lazy, um, and I really want to use these YouTube videos to help us out. Hopefully, this helped. If there's anything else that you have for me, you can, of course, contact me through Kick or whatnot. And that about ends this video. So I hope you all have a good day, and hopefully, we should get a perfect war.